In this NewsWaves special, we honor the graduating class of 2024.
We are very uniquely joined together as a class.
A class that overcame grief and isolation reflects the bonds they formed despite the odds against them.
I feel frustrated that I can't wake up and see their faces and I can't wake up and see their smiles.
Loved ones and Malibu leaders wanting faster change for PCH. Their response to the 16 solutions to make the beautiful but deadly highway safer.
And pivotal but polarizing as the 2024 election draws near.
If politicians know that you are not likely to vote in large numbers, they don't have an incentive to try to promote issues that you would most care about.
Experts weigh in on the impact of younger voters.
We don't want to do anything unless we can do it with excellence.
Big changes at Pepperdine and beyond. From AI technology transforming how students work to a generation facing climate-related anxiety.
We find solutions to some of the biggest problems we face, as we know we will keep moving forward.
Good evening. Live from the main campus at Pepperdine University in Malibu, California. Welcome to this special edition of NewsWaves. I'm Abby Wilt.
I'm Joe Allgood.
I'm Marley Panagos.
And I'm Zoe Hunt. What it is all for. In the next hour, from politics to new technology and unspeakable loss, we look at the ways we are constantly adapting and moving forward.
We begin with the class of 2024. 4 years ago, the COVID-19 pandemic upended what was normal for college students, taking them off campus. And now, through even greater loss, the class of 2024 has learned to lean on each other and move forward together.
Starting online during COVID,
We were watching each other in our childhood bedrooms.
to graduating after experiencing joy and loss.
Tomorrow really isn't guaranteed.
The class of 2024 bonded together through their unique college experience.
There's a lot of shared identity in being class of 2024 that I'm not sure that all classes are able to experience.
Caitlin Gartrell started her biology major online, watching videos of labs instead of doing them in real life.
We were like, a beaker versus an Erlenmeyer flask? Like, what are you talking about?
But like others, Caitlin managed to make friends through Zoom chats.
A lot of the origin stories for the friends I have now are like, yeah, freshman year, I DM'd you one time in class, and then we just like started texting, and then we've been friends ever since.
And 4 years later, can appreciate the humor in what we went through.
People were very intentional on Zoom about like, if you wanted to reach out with someone and be friends, like you kind of had to suck it up and like DM them on Instagram or like make the first move.
After a year online, Philip Young went abroad his whole sophomore year to Heidelberg,
He always called us the reboot program.
learning what college was like, but overseas.
It was fun kind of navigating, like restarting an abroad program.
When he came back as a junior, he had never taken a class at the Malibu campus.
And I walked in and I sat down and I was like, this is my first in-person class in Malibu, like as a Pepperdine student, and I was already halfway through my career here.
Kimberly Banda also was abroad sophomore year, but junior year decided to get as plugged into the Malibu campus and herself as she could.
I made a lot of connections. I made a lot of relationships grew. Learned a lot about myself too, like leadership-wise.
At the beginning of senior year, Kim says she felt a sense of normalcy.
We're just, again, trying to get on our feet, trying to just really enjoy the last moments.
But that normalcy only lasted a short while.
It just came out of nowhere for everybody.
On October 17th, the class of 2024 lost their 4 girls, Asha, Peyton, Neve, and Deslin, and learned to lean on each other in ways they hadn't before. Through tragedy,
Faith has always been at its core, and community was really seen during those dark times.
and triumph,
We are very uniquely joined together as a class.
the class of 2024 will always remember the bond they've formed.
We really saw a lot of people come together that don't necessarily have a lot in common. And I think that speaks volumes about like how intentional a lot of the relationships in our class are.
Hola, my name is Kimberly Banda.
Hi, my name is Philip.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Gartrell, and I'm in the class of 2024.
And joining me live now are seniors Caitlin Gartrell and Philip Young. Thank you both so much for being here with me today. And I want to take it back to the very beginning with you guys. What is your favorite memory from Zoom life? Caitlin, we'll start with you.
I think one of my favorite memories was seeing where everyone was at in their little Zoom frames, whether they were at the beach or in their childhood bedroom with their little pictures and ribbons from when they were a kid. or on campus. It was just really cool to like get to know people through like their surroundings.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the thing that immediately comes to mind is my Com 180 class. We were all supposed to have our speeches memorized, 5 to 8 minutes. It really wasn't that long, but it was Zoom class, and everyone tried to find workarounds to the rules. And so I remember always laughing at the way students would like put their notes or their speeches like behind their computers, and it was very obvious that they were reading off of their note cards, but the professor never seemed to notice, and it always gave us a good laugh.
Yeah, so I would always put mine into like a generated teleprompter, and so it was really good practice for my career now as a broadcast journalist. But yeah, those were always funny, watching where people's eyes were going during the COVID screens. And then when you guys came back to campus our sophomore year, what was that transition like for you from going from Zoom back into real person school?
Yeah, I would say that for me, being a science major, coming back and having labs in person was a really rude awakening, because I was taking OChem that's fall sophomore year, and that's a really hard class, and when you don't know the difference between graduated cylinders and Erlenmeyer flasks, it's extremely difficult, and so that was really interesting coming back.
Yeah, I cannot imagine.
I actually spent my sophomore year abroad in the Heidelberg program, and so I didn't have any in-person classes on campus until my junior year. So that was very strange, showing up to my very first class already halfway through my college career here, and it was my first experience doing that. So it was definitely a big adjustment, but I felt like just being around people who had been here a little bit longer and knew where all the different buildings were and everything, it made it a pretty quick adjustment.
Yeah, that was definitely funny getting adjusted back to real person school. It was funny. And so then our class has obviously been through devastating loss together when we lost our 4 girls, Deslin, Asha, Neve, and Peyton, and then a few months later, Alec. How have you seen our class bond together and grow together through that as we've been grieving for these last few months together?
Yeah, it's been incredible, honestly. I mean, these are some very serious tragedies that I could never have imagined when I first came to Pepperdine. Yeah. But I've been really proud of the way that our class has really rallied, come together as a unit, and just learned to lean on each other, like you said, and really appreciate what we have in each other as a shared identity as the class of 2024.
Yeah, I would say that the way that people have held space for everyone to grieve and really process things differently, whether that's like sitting together in the library, not even working on homework, or professors being really gracious about homework and things, I think we've been able to like come together as a class and like have the time and space to like actually do that.
Yeah, I think that was something I noticed too in these last couple of months, is our class has really grown closer together, and we've been able to really like lean on each other in all ways just to be able to get through something as unimaginable as we did. And then what is one word that you guys have to describe our class?
I would say intentional. I've seen a lot of people through Zoom or after the tragedies be really intentional about making sure they check up on people and being there for one another, and so that was the word I would use.
Yeah.
I think I would say resilient. That's something that Pepperdine preaches a lot with the RISE program, and I think our class really embodies that. Just we've been through so much between COVID and our recent tragedies, and we keep getting knocked down and we keep getting back up, and I'm really proud to be a part of that.
Yeah, I was thinking the word resilient as well, so I'm glad you said that one. And then I feel like I can't interview seniors without asking, what are your future plans? If you don't know, that is fine. But Kaylin, we'll start with you.
So I'll be a perfusion assistant at a hospital in Beverly Hills after we graduate, and then I'll be applying to med school.
Congrats, that's so exciting.
And I'm planning to go to law school next year. Haven't exactly decided where, still ironing out the details there, but that's the plan, and I'm really excited about it.
It's so exciting. Well, congrats and good luck to both of you. I know we'll obviously stay in touch, but thank you again for being here with me today. Yeah. Marley, we'll send it over to you.
Thank you, Abby, and thank you, seniors. As we prepare for graduation and remember the loss of our friends and classmates,
PCH serves as Malibu's Main Street, but it's also a hotspot for deadly crashes, with a high rate of crashes occurring in this stretch where PCH meets John Tyler Drive. City leaders and loved ones of PCH crash victims are fighting to make the highway safer.
Me and Peyton used to always go on like drives on PCH. Like that's what we would do, like in the late hours of the night if we were bored.
But deadly drive. City leaders and members are pushing for a safer PCH.
It's everybody's responsibility to try and make this place safer.
The City Council proposed 16 of its own traffic calming measures, including slower speeds, business and residential districts, and less parking along the highway.
It's an uphill battle. We're going to do everything we can.
However, some of the proposed changes add safety concerns, like temporary speed bumps.
Over 30 miles per hour, they become launch pads.
And increased signage that, if there's too much, might be ignored. Bridget Thompson, who lost 4 sorority sisters in a deadly PCH crash last October, says she used to love driving on PCH.
We loved going on drives, listening to music.
But now, she avoids the drive.
When I'm driving on PCH, I definitely feel a lot more anxious than I did before.
For some, including Thompson, change on PCH is not happening fast enough.
I feel frustrated that I can't wake up and see their faces and I can't wake up and see their smiles.
Mayor Steve Ehring says changing the highway will take time.
You're changing a culture. You're changing what people have done for years, and that just doesn't happen quickly.
Even though he, too, wants to see a faster change.
If I knew how to make it happen overnight, I'd be doing that in a heartbeat.
Thompson is continuing to push for change in honor of her 4 best friends.
I'd like to see more changes at a quicker rate because obviously it takes a split second for someone to lose their life on PCH.
The City Council plans to continue uplifting the voices of those pushing for a safer PCH.
If we let this fade, nothing will happen.
City leaders are also working with government officials to create a safer PCH. The council proposed changes to the state vehicle code, including drivers losing their license for excessive speeds. Back to you on main campus.
Thank you. Thank you, Gabrielle, for that report. It's important, but a sobering update as well.
I completely agree. And I think as we're seeing change start now, it's really important we keep that momentum moving as time progresses on.
It's going to take everyone, Pepperdine, the city, the state, to make significant change on PCH.
Completely. Moving on, as the election cycle ramps up, voters are facing a Biden-Trump rematch. This election season can be discouraging for young voters, but I spoke with experts who are saying young voices are critical.
Division and confusion could impact college students' participation in the upcoming 2024 election. But experts say they are in a unique position to be involved. Dylan Sellers, director of the Campus Vote Project, says it is not that students don't care about the election.
Our students are very politically involved. They just have not connected their political activism to the ballot.
Pepperdine professor of political science Christopher Soper says the logistics of voting while away at college can keep students from the polls.
It's not that young people are lazier than anyone else, it's that there are sometimes barriers that other voters don't face.
Other barriers, including misinformation and polarization, could also deter younger voters. But Seller says student voters need to open up and engage.
We need our students at these college campuses to be having some very brave conversations with one another to figure out some of the issues that we haven't figured out yet, right? It's going to be uncomfortable. It is absolutely going to be difficult, but I have lots of faith in young people.
Seller says it is important for students to have these conversations to challenge their personal views and sharpen their minds. Professor Soper says maintaining humility and curiosity in conversations during election season can help bridge division.
If you enter into a conversation with a certain amount of humility about the rightness of your own position, you might be more willing to hear out someone who disagrees with you.
Both Seller and Soper say student voters should then take these conversations to their ballots. Seller advises students to find an issue they care deeply about and then find out the candidates who also care deeply about those issues.
Gives you the confidence that you need to cast your first ballot.
Soper says voting is critical to ensure students' voices are heard.
So you're Gen Z, you have issues that are important to you. If politicians know that you are not likely to vote in large numbers, they don't have an incentive to try to promote issues that you would most care about because they think you're not going to vote. The only way to change that cycle is to vote in large numbers.
With the election around the corner, having these earnest conversations with our peers is important. And I know when it comes to politics, those conversations can be uncomfortable, but college is really the perfect time to have those tough yet respectful conversations.
I'd agree, Zoe, and it's important that we have them on Pepperdine's campus too. It's such a diverse student body, it's important that everyone has a voice, and when November comes, it's time to get out the vote. Still ahead, this NewsWaves special Moving Forward is just getting started.
Like it or not,
it's a tool, it's not a bad thing.
Generative AI is changing the academic landscape. how Pepperdine is keeping up with the cutting-edge technology.
And 4 ways Pepperdine is moving forward. President Jim Gash weighs in on big changes this year.
You can sit with me, imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. One book can be the first thing helps to change a life. Book people unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Zach, you're gonna tell us when? Go, Abby, go. With new technology stirring Welcome back. With new technology stirring controversy in classrooms, students and teachers grapple with when and if to use it. Sahana is here to tell us more about AI technology at Pepperdine.
Hi everybody, let's give AI a try. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to write me a news story about how artificial intelligence is impacting higher education in the coming years. Take a look.
AI in overdrive.
I think that it's cool that it can quickly give you something, especially if you're kind of in a time crunch.
From creating essay outlines to writing cover letters and designing images, this year, overwhelmed college students embraced artificial intelligence technology.
It's important to acknowledge that it exists and acknowledge that it's a tool, it's not a bad thing.
ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grammarly are all artificial intelligent platforms that can answer virtually any question asked instantly, and for now, at no cost. For college students, AI platforms are helpful for managing their workload.
The main thing that I find is useful is putting an article into the chat and asking it to summarize it for me, just so I don't need to spend the time reading the whole article.
But some students are rightfully skeptical, given that AI can produce nonsense.
You just want to assume that it's probably credible, but it for sure, it could probably take you to a website that's not credible at all.
That is why Pepperdine librarian Mark Vineyard is encouraging students to use AI tools in combination with vetted sources of information.
I asked ChatGPT for some of the themes on fashion and the Industrial Revolution, and it gave me a lot of good search terms to use. When I put in those terms into JSTOR and EBSCO, I was able to find more articles for the students.
Vineyard believes that in the future, an AI feature will be added to the library's database.
We don't have access to it at this point, but I suspect that some of the databases are going to start incorporating AI.
Other universities across the nation are funding AI teaching initiatives. USC has invested $1 billion into computing research with a focus on AI. In an article, USC President Carol L. Folt says the university wants to create responsible leaders and therefore digital literacy will be taught across disciplines. An adoption of AI technology is only likely to continue to grow in educational settings. Some Pepperdine students, like Gandhi, would like to see the university be more proactive.
I haven't seen anything specifically come from Pepperdine as an institution about AI.
Gandhi believes that Pepperdine needs clear policy about student use of the platforms.
I think it just needs to be decided on at a university level on if it would be accepted, and if it is accepted, to what level of acceptance you can use it.
For now, professors are able to decide how they will implement AI in the classroom.
Fall of 23 was the first time that we were asked to include an AI statement on our syllabi. So I have one, and we got to kind of pick from a list.
Gandhi says his integrated marketing and communication classes encourage him to use AI.
I think I use it mainly for my major classes just because, again, those professors will push you to use AI and have you use it as a resource because they know it's going to be implemented in our career.
Okay, this story was not actually written by ChatGPT. Although AI has many enticing features, academic researchers note that it falls short in matching many of the things that make up human creativity, like reporting and producing this story. Back to you.
Thank you, Sahana, for that story. You know, I think it's actually really interesting that Pepperdine is choosing to kind of reevaluate that relationship with AI. So many things that we use every day are AI. Spell check is now getting flagged as AI by Turnitin. So I think now is as good a time as ever to really address that.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to watch how higher education continues to change and adapt to AI, and even going into the workforce for both of us. I think it'll be interesting. I hope AI doesn't take away our jobs, but we'll see what happens, I guess. So thank you, Nora, for that story. And as we move forward with the show, we would also like to see how Pepperdine is changing in the next 4 years. Nora, can you tell us how Pepperdine is moving forward this year?
Yes, thank you. I'm here at the Mountain at Mullen Park construction site, which, as you can see behind me, is very active. Ground broke in September for this project, and by this fall, that large hole in the ground will rise up to be a 7-floor parking structure to fit 800 cars. From this new campus complex to the announcement of a new school, Pepperdine changed in significant ways this year. But the tragedy the community faced in October will forever change us. A new complex in Malibu. A new school, a new study abroad campus, and a new scholarship to honor the lives of Pepperdine's 4 angels. I sat down with Pepperdine President Jim Gash to reflect on the significant change the university experienced this year.
October 17th changed my life. It changed your life. It changed everybody who's watching this lives.
With the unspeakable devastation the university faced in October, the sudden loss of Deslyn Williams, Peyton Stewart, Neve Rolston, and Asha Weir, the university will never be the same.
Every time we lose a student, it's devastating. When we have 4 that perish at once in this way.
Pepperdine established the R4 Angels Endowed Scholarship in March to honor the girls' lives.
They created that legacy by who they were while they were living. And they were incredible people.
Anyone can donate to the fund on Pepperdine's website, and the money will be awarded to a member of Pepperdine's Alpha Phi sorority.
But that scholarship will be something that forever people will know that there were these 4 angels that were here.
Yeah. Gash says there will also soon be a physical place of remembrance on campus.
But there will be 4 lights, and those 4 lights, one for each of them, and it's going to be behind the chapel, and our plan is to dedicate that before graduation.
While keeping ties to those we lost and grappling with grief, the university pressed forward. Construction started this year on the Mountain at Mullen Park, a complex with community top of mind.
To get people together in community, to get them doing things that are fun and interesting and good for their bodies, what was the vision.
A 10,000 square foot student fitness center and a new arena with the capacity to host 3,600 people. Just some of what this project includes. Gash recognizes the disruptions current students endure with construction.
So the way it's sequenced is parking finishes this coming fall, sometime during the fall of 24.
But emphasize the sacrifice each generation makes for advancements to be made.
Each generation inherits some awesome stuff that somebody else had to suffer through what was being built. But then they also will be inconvenienced at times for what's coming next.
So along with this whole new section of campus, Pepperdine is also launching its 6th school, the School of Health Science. So how do you think that this school will expand the Christian mission of the university into the health field?
Yeah, well, that's exactly what we're trying to do.
In March, Pepperdine announced the opening of the College of Health Science. Gash said the university had been reluctant to expand into the health field, but a time of need reminded him of Pepperdine's Christian mission.
When the pandemic happened, it was really clear that serving people in their darkest, deepest need is exactly what Jesus would have us do.
The school will welcome its first cohorts of students in nursing and speech-language pathology in fall 2025, with all programs expected to be operating by 2031.
We don't want to do anything unless we can do it with excellence, and we believe that we can do health sciences with excellence.
Also, an upgrade for international programs. Pepperdine purchased and restored a chateau in Vevey, Switzerland, to replace the former Swiss Abroad campus in Lausanne. The chateau welcomed its first cohort of students this fall.
I hear 2 words: blown away. That's what they say. I'm just blown away.
Other notable changes included a new logo and 2 new faces in the athletic department. Rice University's Tanner Gardner was named the new director of athletics, and Grand Canyon University's Ed Schilling named the new men's basketball coach. With hearts and souls forever changed and joy existing alongside sadness, the 2023 to 2024 school year was one of finding ways to move forward amidst grief.
If you're not climbing, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're not living.
This new campus complex will extend all the way from up here down into Greek Dorm Road, where the current fitness center is, but will not take out those freshman dorms. Down there will be a lawn called Mullen Green. We're excited to see the impact of this new campus on student life in 2026. Back to you all on main campus.
Will be able to have a better experience with that.
Yeah, I have to agree. Thank you, Nora, for that. I think with our college experience, you know, being so abnormal and a little bit cut short, I am very happy for these incoming classes that they're going to have such a great experience with the mountain and new parking and things like that. So definitely things to be proud of for our soon-to-be alma mater.
Yes. And as we close out the year, our classmates and peers are finding ways to honor our 4 girls.
Claire, what can you tell us about Melodies of Memory?
Following the crash that killed 4 Pepperdine seniors in October, Seaver College students are using their own gifts to help honor the lives of these women and draw attention to PCH safety.
Jacob, thank you so much for taking the time today to be here for this interview and tell us about Melodies of Memory. If you could just start by telling me a bit about this event and how it came about.
Yeah, so after the crash that happened in October and we lost our 4 little angels, obviously the whole Pepperdine community was devastated, and from that, everybody came together in such a way that was so spectacular to see. I mean, everybody was picking each other up. They were all supporting each other, being there for each other, and that was something that I've never seen before, and we want to recreate that in a night. And so with my love of music, and everybody was trying to raise money for different things. Sigma Chi was doing their auction, and they donated all their philanthropy money to it, the fundraiser. I was thinking, how can I do my love for music and raise money for everything? And so reached out to Aviator Nation, went back and forth with them a couple times, and eventually convinced them to do a charity show for here. And so started recruiting the different people, Katya, Kiara, Mikey, and then I'm gonna do a set myself. And so it's gonna be a great night on April 18th.
What do you hope to get out of this event, whether personally or for the Pepperdine community as a whole?
I think the point of this event, it's meant to be a good time, knowing that the money you spent on a ticket is going to a good cause. I mean, everyone can come together, sing along to songs, have a good time, support their fellow Pepperdine community that they're all performing. All of them are Pepperdine students. Like I said, they can all come together and support one another, be together for a night, enjoy, knowing the money that they spent on a ticket is going to a cause that everyone cherishes.
Can you please tell me where the funds that are brought together from this event are going to go toward?
The funds are going to go to the Emily Shane Foundation, which is going to go to support families of victims on PCH, as well as going towards fixing PCH as a whole.
I think any cause to raise awareness of safety on the PCH as well is just something we always support, especially because we're located like directly on the PCH where we see a lot of accidents.
Can you please share one more time when and where this event will take place?
So Melodies of Memory is going to be on the Thursday before finals, April 18th. Doors are going to open at 6 p.m. and the concert's going to start at 7 p.m. It's going to feature sets from Kiara Bromberg, Katya Stedman, Mikey Uribe, and myself, Jacob Eminger. Everyone's super excited for it. I think it's going to be a great time. Knowing the money, it's all going to an extremely good cause.
Thank you. Tickets are $30 and are limited. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit aviatornationdreamland.com. Back to you on main campus.
Thank you, Claire, for sharing more about that special event with us. I think it's really cool to see how much of our community is coming together to have these events and raise money to make PCH safer. So I definitely plan on being there next week.
Yeah, I would love to attend. I think this is a beautiful event to honor the beautiful women who we lost, and what a fitting way to celebrate their lives. They are so full of joy, and I think the celebration will be too.
Yes, I agree.
We'll be back in just a few minutes.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Got a quarter?
What are you, superheroes?
Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
Welcome back to this special edition, Moving Forward. As our climate shifts, young people especially are feeling the effects of it.
This is prompting new responses to alleviate climate anxiety. Take a look at how some young people are connecting their faith to action to help them feel better.
Finding hope on a sinking ship.
Fear is a natural response to what's going on in our world.
As climate change challenges increase, worry, especially for young people, is on the rise.
Huge amount of smoke.
In a recent study from Nature Mental Health of over 10,000 youth living across 10 countries, almost 60% reported being very or extremely worried about climate change.
But the antidote to that is taking action and building community.
And this Christian organization has a solution. Avery Davis Lamb is the co-executive director of Creation Justice Ministries.
We're a national ecumenical organization. We work with Christian denominations to protect, restore, and rightly share God's creation.
And they do that by starting early, working directly with youth.
And we run a program called Blue Theology, where we equip students to have a deeper connection to the ocean through service and learning, cultivating faith-based ocean advocates.
With 4 locations in Newport Beach and Pacific Grove, California, Texas City, Texas, and Arapahoe, North Carolina.
Groups are coming to do both learning and serving experiences with the ocean.
Groups like Joel Foster's youth ministry from University Church of Christ in Malibu, who will be taking a week-long trip to Pacific Grove this June.
We're going on a mission trip this summer to kind of focus on our climate anxiety and to actually try and do some things about it.
Foster says he sees climate anxiety frequently with his youth group students.
And I think the way that I see climate anxiety coming up is when people don't have an outlet for the way that they're feeling about the climate crisis.
And Blue Theology creates that outlet through education, service, and hope that young people can see.
We're going to be doing some habitat restoration, things that are relevant to Zuma Beach that my students will be able to come back and recognize.
Foster says faith alone can't take away young people's climate anxiety.
Right, I think there's a lot of ways to work through our anxiety. I don't think the Christian story fixes it, like snapping the fingers and it's gone.
But, he says, for Christian believers, faith in God is an important starting point for moving forward.
Then the response is God says, are you now willing in that anxiety to collaborate, to work with me so that we can work to a better, more holistic, more beautiful and harmonious next thing?
Within Blue Theology, that reliance on faith seems to be working.
We find that those are really positive outlets for people to deal with their climate anxiety.
And Foster, within his youth group, has seen faith-based service redirecting students' feelings of anxiety into action.
That story was one of many that myself and a team of 6 other Pepperdine journalists had the opportunity to report on this year. Through a grant, we looked at ways that organizations and people are helping youth respond to climate anxiety. Joining me now are Gabrielle Salgado and Millie Ochard to talk about what we learned. My reporting partner Sam and I looked into faith-based organizations that were helping with climate anxiety. And obviously through that, as you heard in the package, we saw a lot of discussion about advocacy that was faith-based. But Millie, I know that you looked specifically at advocacy on a broader scale. Could you talk a little bit about how youth are using advocacy to combat their climate anxiety?
Sure, yeah. Abby, Will, and I worked on a story about advocacy and how youth use that to combat their climate anxiety. One of the main things I heard was when people are fighting for climate justice, they feel like they're making a difference. And that is what relieves the anxiety. They feel like they're participating in climate justice. There was only one person who said that being a member of YCAT, which is Youth Climate Action Team, the Youth Climate Action Team, there was only one person on that team that said being a member of YCAT made them actually more anxious about the climate. And I interviewed 7 people total.
Wow.
So it was pretty good numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think similarly what we found in our faith-based reporting is that advocacy is like a channel that they can put their anxiety into, and it does make them feel better, and it does kind of take care of those like symptoms of anxiety that they're feeling. And Gabrielle, for you, I know you looked at things like breathing exercises, and maybe, some of the youth that are struggling with climate anxiety don't have the resources to contact a faith-based organization or don't know where to get started with advocacy. So can you tell us a little bit about what you learned regarding breathing techniques and other kind of therapeutic methods?
Yeah, so just a preface, for our audience, we are doing solutions journalism, which kind of flips what people believe journalism is. So we don't report on the problem, we report on people that are looking for solutions. And so Joe and I, we reported on the clinical aspect of climate anxiety and how they're working on relieving climate anxiety in youth. And so we talked to different therapists and climate mental health organizations. And they really said that giving youth a space to talk, whether it's with parents, with peers, with the therapist, that can really help ease their anxiety, as well as traditional anxiety relief measures, such as breathing exercises. So intentional breathing, deep breaths in and out can help really relieve that anxiety.
Yeah, and I think it's great that your guys' reporting kind of covered the more physical aspect that comes along with anxiety, as opposed to like the long-term kind of effects of it that Millie's team and my team were looking at. So it's really great. It was really great to hear from both of you. A huge thank you to Millie and Gabrielle for joining us today. And Zoe, I'm going to send it over to you.
Thank you, Marley. What great and important work you all did this year. Still ahead in this special show.
Meeting Malibu's need for a workday lunch or late night bite? Welcome Zinc. We go inside Malibu's newest restaurant in town.
Plus, four-legged companions with an important job.
I don't see how you could not love her.
The service dogs bringing smiles and care to Pepperdine's campus.
Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite. Unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. One book can be the first element. Helps to change a life. Book people unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Welcome back. From the kennel to the classroom.
Jenna Parcio joins us to talk about how service dogs support the greater community.
Thanks, guys. Service dogs can be seen inside classrooms and around Pepperdine's campus. Owners share the benefits and hardships of having a service dog on campus. Meet Ollie, Edge, and Pumpkin. While providing a vital service to their handlers, these four-legged friends bring smiles to the Pepperdine campus. Edge's main job is to help the career coach at the Graziadio School of Business, Elizabeth Pode, navigate her cerebral palsy.
So Edge is actually trained to bring the walker back to me. So there's like a little tab on the front of the walker that he can go and grab onto and bring it back.
Junior theater and screen arts major Caroline Speed says dogs can be trained to assist in a variety of different ways. For her service dog Ollie calms her anxiety and panic disorder.
He like licks my face and sort of like the counting, like the different like sensory things just sort of distracting.
Speed says having a service dog for a purpose that isn't visible sometimes is a struggle.
I don't really always want to talk about like my mental illness or like my medical history like with random people on the street.
Having a constant companion on campus is also not something Pode says can be taken lightly.
So when you have a service dog with you, you have to think about them first and you second.
But they are still dogs and get to act like it at a place where many are ready to love on them.
He sort of knows like when I put the vest on, I'm working, and when I'm not, I can be dog. And so we'll get home and I'll take it off and he'll run around and play, get all his toys, but he sort of learned really quickly like the difference in the separation.
Sophomore sports med major Riley Chilson says Pumpkin is mostly a fan favorite on campus.
She gets a lot of fun and attention and time off duty, which I think is very special.
While these dogs are here for their handlers, other students benefit from their presence.
I don't see how you could not love her.
Next time you're on Pepperdine's campus, keep an eye out for Pumpkin, Ollie, and Edge as they assist their owners in their everyday lives. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Jenna, for such an uplifting report. I mean, that is just awesome. It's such a positive effect on campus. Just perfect for anyone having a rough day.
I think that those jokes deserve a really good round of applause. What do you guys think?
Well, don't flatter me too much, but yeah.
Well, up next is a popular segment that you've become known for, Joe, here in Malibu. What do you have for your final all-good food for us?
Yes, it's the end of an era. I started this 2 years ago, and now I'm ending with one of the newest restaurants here in Malibu, Zinc, a place where Pepperdine students and community members can go to just hang out. I am here at Zinc Malibu. It's one of 7 locations in LA. They've also got one in Phoenix, so let's give her a try.
Come as you are. That's the vibe for Malibu's newest restaurant, Zinc.
It's more of like a neighborhood gathering place, so more akin to like a cafe or like an English pub.
Malibu is Zinc's 8th location since the first one opened in 2011 in Venice Beach. Kristen DeSetti, who owns Zinc with her husband, says they chose Malibu because the community was in need of a good hangout place.
And I see that a lot of folks, especially students and creatives all over Southern California, show up and work and do meetings, and it's a nice place to be.
The menu is extensive, featuring everything from traditional French fare to brunch staples or a classic burger and fries.
I'm going to start with the Burrata Petite Roman pizzas. Great kind of start to the meal. Look at that. A little messy, but delicious nonetheless. We've got the, not the Le Bowl, which is one of the more popular items on Zinc's menu here. And there's so much in it. The last item here is the fried chicken sandwich, which is one of the newer menu items.
Zinc stays open until midnight, one of the few places in Malibu to do so, and they'll be rolling out a new late-night menu, which includes the chicken sandwich, within the next 2 weeks.
This might be the best chicken sandwich I've ever had. And I've had a lot. I used to work at Chick-fil-A.
DeSetti says that the hospitality business is not always easy, especially over the past few years. But there's nothing that she'd rather do.
There's nothing I like better than being in a beautiful space, listening to great music and hanging out with friends and family and people that I love and strangers that I get to meet and discover what they're about over, great food and drinks.
Of those drinks, the most popular is the espresso martini. And for dessert, the crowd favorite is their olive oil cake.
Definitely give it a try. This is the last all good food.
Thank you, Joe, for that. I think watching the You're All Good Food episodes are one of my favorite parts of being in NewsWaves, and I always get the best food recommendations from you, so thank you for that.
Thank you so much. I've had a lot of fun doing them. Have you been to Zinc yourself?
I have been to Zinc. I have not tried the items on the menu that you tried here in this story, so I'm going to have to go back now and try it.
I would recommend it. And that late night menu coming up soon.
I'm looking forward to that. That's something Malibu really needs.
Mm-hmm.
And as our time at Pepperdine comes to a close, we look ahead at what's next to come. We reflect on where we began.
I made it to the desk.
And how much we've grown. NewsWaves Seniors React, up next.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Got a quarter?
What are you, superheroes?
Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
Welcome back. 4 years and 8 semesters of NewsWaves later, us seniors are moving on to the next chapter in our lives.
But we can't leave without taking a moment to reflect and laugh at our time here. Stick with us through this.
Guys, I am so excited for this.
Hi guys, welcome to NewsWaves Seniors React. My name is Carolyn Kimball, and I'm joined by a panel of my fellow NewsWaves seniors. And today we're going to be rewatching some old packages for you guys.
I'm a little nervous.
Well, as a local surfer.
It's very good.
I was very shy to be in public with the camera. Like, I was just very scared to go up to strangers and ask them for interviews. So I think you can kind of like see that in all of my shots. But it also makes me proud to be like, now I can go in public with the camera and talk to people, and I feel comfortable doing that.
I was like freaking out because my 8-year-old self was kind of coming out.
As you can see behind me right now, the Ventura and LA County Fire Departments are running a joint drill.
I so improvised all this. So it was like
every time
I saw
they
and
go to refill.
You're important.
You're important.
I was going to say, that's the way to do it. You're a pro.
Yeah. Oh, that was great natural sound. This is a really
is good, yeah.
good package.
That's one of my favorite shots ever. They got
actually
so close.
This is intense, like a movie.
Yeah, they, let us have full access.
I couldn't get access to the property. I couldn't get access to anything. Like, I didn't have any interviews, so it's really bad. Hold tight.
They pretended to befriend a mentally ill doctor and moved into his Malibu beachfront home, rent-free. Lauren Flores, seen here,
That is a
almost
wild
$3 million, marking him with LSD and marijuana.
This is your right. This is your final
I did
form.
not commit any murders or fraud. It's just a quick.
Unlike the rest of you, I really pulled from way deep. Like, mine is not good in the slightest.
Not only are freshmen meeting their peers,
There we are in the yard.
but Pepperdine's incoming class
That's my
also
wrong
had their
Twitter.
first
With the Twitter logo.
new
RIP
student.
Twitter.
Yolby Shin runs an Instagram called
Oh,
I
the
remember
Instagram.
that. Oh my God.
Crazy to see.
I see a lot of familiar faces.
That was my whole COVID year, was filming these things in my yard.
I'm so excited for this, you know? This is my one and only video I've made for NewsWaves ever.
That's
Nice.
good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Today, the Little Railroad is gone, but its legacy remains.
Good work. Proud of you.
How do you feel right now watching that over? Do you feel proud?
I feel so happy. I left the dungeons of the control room, and I mustered up the courage to ask Dalos if I could make a video. Full circle
Do you wish you
moment.
would have been a reporter?
I made it! I made it to the desk.
Dungeons.
Yeah, everyone in the control room, you can make it, you know?
I feel
Living proof.
the control room's not that bad. I can't go to the control room too.
Hey, you're one of our best alums.
While that might be painful for us to all watch, I think it's very cool to see how we've all grown as reporters, as anchors, as producers, directors in our time here at NewsWaves. I know I'm really going to miss reporting with you guys alongside you, but I know we all have some news of where we're going next. So Marley, we'll start with you. I see you have a new addition here on your left hand.
Well, I got engaged, and my fiance and I are going to be moving to Boston after graduation. He'll be going to Harvard, and I will be looking for a news job and starting my career. What about you, Abby?
Yes, so I will be moving to Boise, Idaho to work for KTVB Channel 7 as a reporter, and I'll be starting in about a month. And Joe, will I be reporting with you out in the field?
You'll definitely, hopefully, see me on air, so if anyone's hiring right now. But before that, in June and July, I'll be touring with Pepperdine's own a cappella group, One by One. So if you're in the city with us, come see us. And Zoe, where will you end up after this?
Yeah, so I'm hoping to report in news for a little bit, but I also want to go to law school long term, so hoping to kind of combine the two. And you know, I'm really excited to see where the entire class of 2024 ends up, especially after spending these 4 years together. When we were planning this show, the number 4 kept appearing.
Yeah, from it being 4 years since the COVID pandemic to it looking like another 4 years for either President Biden or President Trump, and the 4 girls who we lost this year.
In the Bible, the number 4 means creation. It's also a symbol of support and stability.
This year that shattered us did show us that together we can keep moving forward. Thank you for joining us on this special edition of NewsWaves.